What's up, guys? Happy Senior Bowl week. I'll be down in Mobile, Alabama, watching one of the better rosters we've seen over the last decade, and I want to go through three players that I think will not only be huge names in the NFL draft, but on our fantasy radar going into next year. Let's start with Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver from Iowa State. 6'4", 212 pounds. He's got ball skills. He's obviously got ability in the red zone, but I think this guy moves differently for his size after the catch, can play inside and outside, really, really good hands. And that takes me next to a tight end in Harold Fannin Jr., who it's not every day you see a tight end at the college level go for over 1,500 yards. Like Trey McBride a couple years ago, who also had a good Senior Bowl week, Fannin Jr. was the player in his offense. The offense ran through him. And finally, of course, a quarterback, Jalen Milroe. You love what he could do with his legs. He's got arm talent, but he needs some development. He might need some time on the bench. But listen, this guy ran for 32 touchdowns over the last 2 years, ran for over 700 yards this year. When Milroe's number is called, we'll be talking about him a lot on the fantasy radar.
Okay, who's eating good?
Yeah.
Good to hear from our man, Connor Rogers.
As somebody who watched a lot of Alabama football this year, Connor's not wrong. Jalen Milroe is crazy, crazy athletically gifted, but 3 times a game he does something that drives you absolutely crazy and insane.
Yeah, needs to exercise the crazy out of his game a little
like,
bit, but he has all the
what
talent
are
in the
you
world.
doing, Milroe? That is something that I said probably at least once or twice a week watching Alabama football
He's going to
this year.
need the time to develop for sure.
Okay, well, let's talk about some names who are going to be prominent in the draft cycle and Senior Bowl coming up, and I think the most compelling one, Lawrence, is Ashton Jeanty, runner-up for the Heisman, obviously running back out of Boise State. Connor's 2.0 mock has him going to the Minnesota Vikings, which would be a fun landing spot.
By the way, and his mock is available on NBCSports.com, rotoworld.com. We're company men. Go check out Connor's mock draft right now.
That's actually refreshing to see a mock that doesn't have Ashton Jeanty going to the Cowboys. Although it's a fair spot to have him go. There's other spots though, like the Broncos, Chargers, and some more teams that could use a explosive running back. And speaking of the Cowboys, this is why you like Ashton Jeanty. He's like a more explosive, faster version of Emmitt Smith. When you watch him, he's not the biggest guy, but he's damn sure strong. You've seen him run through the tackles. You don't get 2,500 rushing yards for no reason. If he goes in that first round, which we expect him to, most first-round running backs, we pretty much end up drafting him at least in the second or third round in fantasy drafts.
He's going to be a popular pick as well. I so hope he doesn't go to Denver where Sean Payton, just mixes and matches. Even when he had Alvin Kamara, the Chargers are really interesting. If he goes to the Vikings, that's really interesting as well. Like, again, you want him on a good offense where he's going to be in scoring position often. Dallas, obviously, is interesting. What about Chicago? You know what I mean? If you think about Ben Johnson, where he sits there and he's thinking about, hey, I want my own Sonic and Knuckles here as well. So that could be kind of interesting as well, because I don't know that anyone in Chicago has sort of blown the roof off the doors, so to speak, at the running back position.
Indeed. Tetairoa McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona, another huge name to watch. Lawrence, Connor's mock has him going to the New York Jets, whose offense is going to be in a lot of flux.
Yeah, Connor would love that. They just got to figure it out at the quarterback position here. McMillan's more of a player. I would describe him as like an explosive version, more explosive version than Drake London. He's got the same style. I would like to see him go to the Carolina Panthers. Let's actually get Bryce Young some real players. And if we're really going to get crazy.
Whoa. Why are you hating on Jalen Coker? Cokeheads are very angry with you.
He's going to be involved. He's going to be involved.
What about Xavier Leggett? What about the X-Man?
We need a guy like a top 10 talent in there. And I'm talking, let's get real crazy. Let's put him there with T. Higgins. T. Higgins, McMillan there together for Bryce Young.
That's future Washington Commander T. Higgins you're talking about.
If he gets to one of these teams where he's automatically the top receiver, then he'll have the same kind of talk like Marvin Harrison did.
Last guy, Luther Burden III, wide receiver out of Missouri, very high on Connor's big board. Connor has him going to the Broncos, Matthew, who quietly, could use a little bit of help at receiver outside of Colton.
They certainly could. A lot of the teams towards the end of the first round, so Denver at 20, the Steelers at 21, you need somebody other than Pickens, right? You think about the Chargers as well. They need somebody to complement McConkey. Houston picking at 25, right? Diggs was on a 1-year deal. Is he coming back? Tank Dell has struggled with injuries his 2 years in the league. So you could see him going somewhere in that range. But Denver definitely needs somebody opposite Cortland Sutton. Even though we saw Marvin Mims come on down the road, like, Sean Payton, he loves him some wide receivers.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com. And I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.